Okay, I'm back. It took me about 10 minutes to sift it, and they didn't all sift. So one trick you can do is put them through a food processor and grind them. You want to grind them at some point, usually at the 10-minute mark. If they're not going to go through the sifter, you're not going to get the sifted oats. Just do the best you can. And mix it. So now let's continue with the recipe. I'm going to get the butter mixture. I'm just going to beat that again. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add our dry ingredients into the butter mixture. So let me move that off to the side so you guys can see this. So I don't suggest dumping all of the mixture. I suggest putting it in a measuring cup and doing it little by little. And you just want to beat your dough really well. I'm going to turn this off as I add the remaining ingredients. And then give it a good mixture. And I'm going to let this go for just a few minutes, just to allow everything to incorporate. Ideally, you don't want to go above a speed 6 or 7 on your stand mixer. Okay, so your dough is going to look like this now. And I'll pull this down so you guys can see it. And it's going to be kind of a different mixture. But when it starts to do that, stop your mixer. You don't want to overmix the cookies. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to chill this dough for 1 hour. So let me get some saran wrap down. Or cling wrap. Just move all of this off to the side. That off to the side. And we'll clean up the countertop in a few minutes while this is chilling. And I'll do that off camera. So you want to have a pretty big piece of cling wrap for these cookies. And you're also at this point going to want your chocolate sprinkles. And this is what chocolate sprinkles come in. And they come in a big container. And when you're doing this, what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you guys in a second. Let me clean off this beater, because otherwise it's really hard to get this out. Take my paddle off. And you might have noticed that this has no eggs in it whatsoever. So this is a perfect recipe for, with the exception of the butter, for somebody that is vegetarian, that doesn't eat meat, because it has no eggs in it. It does have butter in it though. So, and I've never tried to make this with non-dairy butter. Okay, I'm just going to scrape down the bowl. I should have used this stiffer. Okay, so let me unplug my machine, and I'm going to tip my machine off to the side. Not push it off to the side, but tip it. So now what you're going to do, let me move this out of the way, is you're going to take the dough, and this is, you want really clean hands. You want to kind of gather the dough with your hands. And you're going to kind of shape it into a log form. So, and I'm going to show you how that goes in a minute. And if your dough is too dry, you could add a little bit more vanilla, or you could also add just a little bit more butter. And if it's still really dry, add a teaspoon of milk. Now, I know when I do the butter cookie, or the bullseye cookie on Friday for the live stream, there is one ingredient that my grandmother neglected to write down on the recipe, and I'll share that with you Friday. And it took me several years to figure out what was wrong with the cookie when I made it. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to take all of this dough, and this cookie does not make a whole lot of cookies. As a matter of fact, I don't think my grandmother has how many this makes, but what you basically want to do is you want to treat this kind of like a dough, sort of like a pie or a pastry dough. I'll show you guys in a minute. Why it's important to do that. Let me move this out of the way so I don't break this. So I'm just gonna kind of smash it down. You want to get it into about a log size, because what you're going to do once it's chilled is you're going to actually cut the cookies. So they're not going to be rolled. They're actually going to be in slices. Now, while you're doing this, what we're doing is I'm just putting this all together. And you'll notice that my hands are not actually touching the dough. I have the cling wrap doing that. And the reason being is the more you work with this dough, the more it's going to fall apart in your hands. Or your hands are going to get really buttery. So it's always good to work with the saran wrap on it. So I'm just putting the remaining dough on it. Now we need to coat the whole thing in chocolate sprinkles. And sorry, forgive me, I'm off camera for a second. I'm washing my hands. It's very, very important at this junction. Clean hands, clean hands, clean hands. So what you want to do is open your chocolate sprinkles. They didn't really dry my hands. I've got ice, pardon me, honey. I know you don't need to be eating the chocolate. Okay, I'm gonna turn you to the sink for a second while I wash my hands really fast. And sometimes I get dough underneath my nails. You guys have, a lot of you guys have commented on my nails, and yes, my nails look very nice. I was very thrilled with how they come out, and I'm doing my nails for next Wednesday. My nails will change colors to the Christmas colors. Okay, so ice, get from behind me. Sorry, big guy was like going, oh, you're dropping stuff on the floor. I'm like going, I might be dropping stuff on the floor, but I don't need you to eat them. Okay, let me move you guys up just a little bit. And let me get rid of this cling wrap so it's not in the way. Okay, so I'm going to grab my paring knife. These things are a pain in the butt to open. They're supposed to give you a little lip. Half the time they don't, so a paring knife. You want to be very careful with these because these will go all over the place. So what I do is I just run my knife all the way around. And you want to be especially careful with these if you have dogs, because that can be harmful. So the chocolate sprinkles is a half a cup. I don't measure it out. What I do is I just put a bunch of chocolate sprinkles on my saran wrap. I'll put some on top. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to use your saran wrap and you're going to start to roll it in the dough. And you want to make sure you coat that all sides have chocolate. And these will go all over the place. I know from experience doing these. So I'm just going to use my hands and... Ice, what are you eating? Oh, did you find a nice cube? Now see, these are falling apart. So you kind of want to work quickly with these. And I've never had success with one of these not falling apart on me. They always just seem to fall apart. And I don't make these but at Christmas time, so that might be why I haven't done these in a while. But what you basically want to do is you want to go all the way around your cookie and fill as much space, so they should look like that. And we'll do this side. Bit of this and just gonna add this to it. So you're gonna do the best that you can, and I know I said you shouldn't handle the dough too much and you don't want to handle it a lot. Some in here. So now let's put these two ends together. I'm going to try to get all of this together. Hopefully y'all can see this. What we're going to do now is I might have to, yeah, I think I'm going to have to add more cling wrap to this. So your your roll should look like this. And you just want to do the best you can with the chocolate sprinkles going around it. Now what we're going to do is you want to make sure that this is airtight and wrapped really well. Let me get the saran wrap opened and I'll be right back. And poof, like magic, I still don't have the saran wrap. I've been fighting the saran wrap for a while. Ugh. Okay, there we go. For some reason, those of you old-timers that have been with me since day one know mean saran wrap. Those of you that are new to my channel may not know that saran wrap and I have, for years, have had a problem. I always have issues with saran wrap. It either sticks like this, or it gets really clingy, and it just is a mess. So what you want to do is you basically want to make this airtight. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. And I'll get in nice and close. Now what you want to do is pop this in the refrigerator for 1 hour and chill it. You can actually do this ahead of time, and you can actually chill it for even longer. The longer it sits in the refrigerator, the easier it is to work with. But my grandmother has chill for 1 hour. And you want to shape this into a roll, which we did. Now, if it's too big, what you might want to do, and I think we're going to have to do that, is pop it on a plate. You can also put it on a cookie sheet if you have enough room in your refrigerator for it. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator right now. And we're going to chill it. In about a half an hour from now is when you can go ahead and start preheating your oven. And you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Because these cookies, of course now you're hearing the mouthpiece, these cookies are going to bake for 20 minutes in a 350 degree oven. So, I'm so excited about Friday's video. I can't wait for you guys to tune in and share and chat. I'm actually loving the live streams. Make sure if you have sprinkles like this, you put the lid back on, and I got a little bit of butter on it, or cookie dough, so I'm just going to do a white. And sometimes, now this one I don't think, yeah, okay, this one doesn't. Once in a while, the older ones used to have a recipe printed on. Now it's the ingredients, but sometimes make sure that the underneath doesn't have a recipe. Sometimes they have really good recipes underneath. So, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my kitchen. You're done with the rolled oats for now. You don't need those. You can put those away. Same with your flour. Keep your sprinkles handy. Once in a blue moon, you need to add a little bit more sprinkles to the cookie, and I'll show you that after an hour when I come back, what we're going to do with the cookie. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss the conclusion of the chocolate sprinkle cookie.